When you're on a tight budget, you can't afford to waste a thing. Not garden space, not the food you're bringing in from the garden or the grocery store. And today we're talking about just that. I have inspiration for you in the gardens and in the kitchen to help you not waste a thing. Welcome to Pinebrook Homestead. My name is Marie, a happy wife with 4 boys, 2 grandchildren, and 1 on the way. I've been a full-time mother and homemaker for 35 years, with the last 14 developing our suburban homestead and gardens, where we grow 50% of our food for the year. Over the years, there have been many curveballs and difficulties thrown our way. Looking back, we conquered them all with hard work and prayer. Join me this month as we have another valley to walk through and mountain to climb to save money. I promise some inspiration in the kitchen, in the gardens, and for you. My youngest son and I were driving earlier this day. Okay, actually, he was driving and I was the passenger. Let me just say, thank God this is the last teenager I need to teach to drive. But his playlist filled the car with a sweet harmony when all of a sudden this song came on from Josiah Queen. The first verse hooked me immediately and sent my mind racing. Josiah sang, "We've got dust on our Bibles and a brand new iPhone, and we wonder why we feel this way." I sat back in the passenger seat and thought about our world today. iPhones are taped to our sides rather than the Word of God, yet every seed I plant is a gift from the Lord above. Every vegetable, every fruit has a seed to live on and produce another harvest for another year. God has strategically woven each seed, each fruit to sustain us. And yet society as a whole looks to the grocery store rather than a living garden. The living garden was my grocery store this week. It started with a seed packet that cost less than a pound of broccoli or a head of lettuce, and yet it was my personal grocery store. Nothing went to waste, no soil left barren. One crop out, another replaced it. Seeds sown and plants transplanted. Time for a shower and to wash my apron. So it is cool but humid today.
So I am already sticky, but um, we have like 93% humidity right now, and we are not due to get rain, but the sun is not beating down on me. So it is the perfect time to get some garden chores done. Did a little weeding, got this tilled. We're going to pull some broccoli plants. Um, yeah, it's humid. But I have a trick to growing carrots in the summer. Normally, spring is very easy to germinate carrots because there's a lot of rain. So there's a lot of moisture. But we have been in the high 80s and low 90s for about a week and a half now. So I'm going to show you a trick that you can do to help germinate your carrot seeds. So the other thing that I want to share with you, if you are a smaller gardener, I have this little it's called a square foot garden tool. And I got this tool a long time ago. Seedling Square is what it's called. And it allows you to really maximize your space. So that is what I'm using to plant the carrots today. And on this paper, it tells you your planting guide. So with carrots, we want to use the red, and it gives you the proper spacing. If you're doing a raised bed or anything like that, this is an awesome tool, and I can link it for you in the description box below. So I am just going to start seeding. Now, carrot seeds only go down about a quarter of an inch, and they are super tiny and small. Some people broadcast them and then thin them. I've never had true success with that. I've had more success if I sow my carrots this way. Now, everybody has their own way, and that's fine. Just as long, in my opinion, just as long as we're growing food. But, the gardens really saved me this week. I literally bought a gallon of milk. Um, Actually 2 gallons because I did my yogurt. So I'm just going to drop one seed into here, going by the red. And oh, carrot seeds are small. That's why I have to have my glasses on. Oh, I feel the sun coming. But it's a beautiful morning. The birds are chirping. And hopefully we will get some rain. But we will water these in, put some straw over them, and then I will show you my trick to getting these to germinate. So I am just going to go 1 and 2 all the way down this. And hopefully we will have some fall carrots. So I've watered this completely in, and then what I am going to cover with, I have seen before where people cover with boards of wood. I don't have that. So I do have, however, cardboard. I save all my cardboard because if I want to make a new garden bed, I use the cardboard to line underneath the grass, help with weeds. Looks like I'm going to need another piece, but this is the concept. And then I'm just going to take a brick, and what we will do is we will watch each day, lift the cardboard up. If I need to water, I'll water. This way, if it rains, the cardboard actually gets wet as well. And this is what we're going to do to try to germinate these carrots in the heat. So I will keep you updated on this success. So most of this broccoli is actually ready to come out, but I am going to get this one and take this plant. Now, what is going to happen is once I harvest, let me move this. Once I harvest all this broccoli, there will be bush lima beans going in. And same on the row of the peas. So this whole area will just be bush lima beans, and hopefully we will get enough to be able to either can or freeze for the winter. I have to tell you, this is the first successful year I've had with broccoli. Now, there is nothing like fresh grown, but here's what's happening. The heat in one day, it's bolting. So we're going to take the broccoli, and I am working on freezing some, and then we're going to take the plant as well. And I've got a couple more broccoli plants to take. Comes out easy. But the leaves, good leaves, and this stalk is what we are going to use. And I cannot wait to show you what we are doing with the stalk. We have come in from outside, and wow, it got hot. Sun was coming in and out, and the humidity, and but anyways, we have food to take care of. So I actually have 5 heads of broccoli that we need to take care of. And I know that I'm going to have more broccoli this week. So we are going to blanch this and freeze this, put it in the freezer for winter. And I'm very excited about this. So, and then we're going to deal with some broccoli leaves. And I have some fun things that you can do with broccoli leaves. Who knew they were edible? They are just as nutritious as broccoli, high in C, I believe C, A, E, and K. So we definitely want to take advantage of that. And I'm just going to cut the broccoli. And then we are going to use the stalk as well. Nothing goes to waste. So another message for you. If you've ever grown broccoli before and you had issues with the worms, fresh broccoli needs to be soaked if it is not covered. Now, I do still soak it just in case, but otherwise the moss will lay little worms in the broccoli. Nobody wants that. If you buy broccoli at a farmer's market, make sure to soak it again, or ask the farmer if they already have, but I would definitely soak it again. Because I have my broccoli covered because of the cabbage moth, I didn't have any of those issues. So if that is something, growing broccoli, and you're like, I just can't handle that, then by all means cover it and you won't have that issue. So I have my water heating up behind us and my cold water bath that we're going to plunge everything into to stop it from cooking. And then I'm going to go a step further. Once I blanched it and put it in the cold water bath, I'm actually going to pull it out, and I am going to lay it on a cookie sheet and let it dry, possibly flash freeze it before I put it into my food saver bags. I do not want freezer burn or ice all over the broccoli. I do not like frozen broccoli like that. So I'm going to take a couple extra steps to ensure that doesn't happen. And you don't have to do these, but I want to be able to roast the broccoli in the fall and winter and put it on with maybe some squash. I've got honey nut squash coming in. Don't know if we'll make it up to the Amish. We like to go up to the Amish country in the fall, and we stock up on their squash. So their spaghetti squash and butternut squash. And it's so reasonable. It's like $1.25 for a squash, and not pound. So I have a little boy down here who loves the stalks of broccoli, my little Yorkie. So that's why you'll hear him when I'm chopping. But this is a good amount of broccoli. And like I said, I still have more out there. And we are just going to use this, preserve it. If I kept this in the refrigerator, my family would probably get sick of eating broccoli this week. And that's one of the things that I do with the garden. I try to grow as much as I can and preserve as much as I can. You could, if you can find broccoli at a farmer's market, pick it up and preserve it for yourself. If the store has broccoli on sale, you could do it that way too. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put the first batch of broccoli in. The water is boiling, and what you want to do is blanch broccoli for 2 to 3 minutes. I tend to go on the lesser side and do 2. So I'm going to throw the first batch in there. And set my timer. And once the timer goes off, we'll plunge it into the ice water bath. And then, like I said, I'm going to take it out and let it dry before storing it. And I might even do a flash freeze on it so that when I put it in the food saver bag, it is already frozen. Somebody wants more broccoli. My dogs eat vegetables. It's wonderful. It really is. All right, so there was 2 minutes. Let's pull them out. If you find a sale on broccoli from the store, you could do it that way too. And stock up for yourself. All right, we'll set the timer again for 2 minutes. And I'm going to add a little bit more ice to this. So every part of the broccoli plant is edible, including these big leaves. Now you can use these leaves if you're growing broccoli, or you can pick up something from the farmer's market, but you can use these leaves just like you would kale or spinach. So what I am going to do is I am going to de-stem this entire thing of leaves. Now, some we are keeping fresh. We will end up sauteing this week. Some I am going to blanch, and I'm going to put it into bags so that I have them when I'm doing soups and stews and all of that through the winter. And this is a great source, like I said, of vitamin C. I believe it's A, E, and K. But I can't throw this out. I mean, these things are amazing. So I am just going to work on that. And then I literally just take my knife right down the stalk. And more stalks. So I've got some cold water in here. I'm just going to wash everything off. Then we'll either salad spin it or we'll blanch them. Now, the more tender leaves, like this one, that's a smaller, you could put raw in a kale salad. And by the way, these leaves taste like broccoli. So if you like broccoli, by all means, save your leaves. But you could put smaller leaves like this, mix it with kale. You could have a Caesar salad with just that. That would be good. You can juice them. What else can you do with them? Saute them. You can cook them just like you would collard greens. I might even try to can some of them. I can my cabbage leaves in like a pork broth with pork for the winter. So I might try to can some of these. I don't know. I still have a good bit out there. But we are just going to bring this back to life with a little bit of water. So I have all the leaves stripped from the stems, and I'm looking at these stems and they're not fibrous at all. They're like the stalk that you have for your broccoli. And I am like, we are going to chop these up. We're going to make a cream of broccoli soup with the leaves and the stems this week. So that is going to be one dinner that I'm kind of really intrigued and excited about. I made chicken broth last week. So I already have the chicken broth. You, of course, if you're vegan, use your vegetable broth. It's just what I have in the refrigerator. And so we're going to use that up. But I'm just cleaning up these stalks for storage. Just kind of taking the leaves off of them. And then this is my waste basket, and that will go in the compost. So nothing goes to waste, not space, not food. You could just eat these raw. I did. I tried them just to see how fibrous they were and if I could do it. And I can. And I think it is going to be amazing. Busy day today. First, out in the gardens. Then, it's that time of year, but then you bring in all the harvest and you have to deal with the food. But I'm so grateful. I am so grateful for the gardens, not just for my well-being and exercise and working out there and being outside, but for the bounty that it truly does give us. So I have all the stems done. I have some leaves that are done. And these are tender leaves that I'm going to incorporate into a kale salad this week. I still have kale out there to use. A big bag of greens that we're going to be using this week. And I have more greens in the sink that I am going to freeze. So this is what I was thinking. I not only use kale and all of that in my soups, which now I can use these, but I buy discounted bags of spinach for my dog food. So there are many times where I will take frozen broccoli that might be freezer burned and I'm not going to use it and I'll throw it in the dog food. Well, now this gives me another option because I'm going to freeze some bags of the leaves and I still have a ton more out there. But then I don't have to buy spinach. There's just as much vitamins in the broccoli leaves as the spinach, and I can incorporate that into my dog food. So I'm super excited about that. One last thing we're going to do. These are the stalks that we cut all the florets off of. So we are going to make a broccoli slaw with them. So I got out my food processor and I am just going to put them in and shave them up. Now these are the tender ones. Once you get farther down on the broccoli plant, it gets pretty hard, pretty fibrous. But these are the tender ones that we took off of our florets when we froze them. So let's see how this is going to work. I have a little bit of shredded carrots left. I'll make a sauce this week. and I will have a broccoli slaw. You are going to want to stick around for the next video when I put all of these meals together and I will show you what I'm doing. Plus, we are only eating out of the pantry. What we've brought in my downstairs pantry, I have canned meats down there and I need to use some of them up. So that's what we are doing this week. We're not getting into the freezers. We're using canned meat. Everything's coming out of the pantry or the garden. So let's see what we can do with this. But that is a video you're going to want to see. I will have great ideas for you. All right, let's see. Hopefully this will work. One down. Just a few more. I think this is all just going to go in. All right. Let's see how this turns out. Wow. Oh, I think this is going to work perfect. I am excited about this. You know, I see it Kroger, and I have purchased it before when it is on markdown. I have seen broccoli slaw before, but I thought, you know what? We're going to make our own. Make our own. I'll make a sauce with Patty's mayo. Check out another video. I forget what making do with what we have, saving money. I did a mayonnaise recipe on there that was Patty's mayo, and I had a dear viewer, she is quickly becoming a friend, try it out, and she loved it as well. So you're going to want to go back to that video, pick up that mayo recipe, but we'll do some sort of slaw dressing, add some carrots, shaved carrots to this, and we've got a cool summer side dish. So I do have my broccoli florets in the freezer along with my peas. It has been a busy week and a really busy day. You know, when you start pulling in the harvest, I'm so grateful. But when you start pulling it in, you kind of have to process it or deal with it somehow. So I have something to show you. Is this just not the prettiest squash you've ever seen? I think it is. I've never grown them before. It's called a sunburst. And I might have picked it too early because it still has green on the back, but I'm going to look into that. I didn't want it to get huge like a zucchini does and then get really seedy. And so first time I picked, I'll let you know. I have some zucchini coming out and I think I'm going to do a squash gratin. I've got some cheese in the freezer. So we'll do that. I even picked my first English cucumber. I'm so excited to eat these, but a lot going on, and stay with me for this week because all of this is going to come into meals and ideas that you can do in your own kitchen, whether you've grown broccoli plants or whether you're buying broccoli from the farmer's market or just the grocery store. If you buy that big thing of broccoli, you can still shred up the stems and get your own broccoli slaw. So there's a lot of things that you can do. We are eating out of the pantry this week, no freezer except for maybe the cheese. And yeah, I'm excited. So stay with us. I wish you all many blessings. I am running out of time. My husband gets off work in less than an hour, and I have a lot of cleanup to do. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.